and let's just see. Hey, friends, welcome back. Come here, Gracie. This is Gracie Garrett. This is my oldest daughter. This is Talk of Champions. I think, Gracie, we have figured it out. You're going to go to YouTube and make sure that this is playing right. All right. That's what your responsibility is. I'm going to, well, you can use my phone, my sweet, sweet daughter. I, on the other hand, am now going to take this link, or I'm going to go to YouTube and invite you to come back and join me as we have got it figured out. So hold on one second. Everybody, welcome to live. Come here, Gracie. Come here and talk too. Hey, it's Talking Champions. I'm Ben Garrett. This is Gracie. Say, hey, Gracie.
Hi.
Hey, now I don't know if we're where we are as far as YouTube, though. Is this even going where it needs to go yet?
What do I look up?
Well, there he goes. Finally, now we have it. Here we go. We are live, Gracie. So hang in tight. Gracie's hanging. No one's watching. Oh, 5 people are in here, right? Look at us. New live link. Hey, everybody. Come here, Gracie. Say hey, everybody.
Hey.
That's Gracie Garrett. That's my oldest. We had a little technical difficulties, folks. New link. Technical difficulties. Hey, whatever. There it is. We live now. We're going to go to the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate of On 3, and tell those people, too, Gracie's hocking up a lung. Here's what's happening. Ole Miss softball is facing elimination in Oklahoma City, their first trip ever to the College World Series. Hold on. Here we go. One more. New link. Let me put this on the board. OM Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, affiliate of On 3. We're back, folks. We're live. And finally, some comments. Ben, why didn't we hug the line? Eli McNeese in the first comment. Thank you for joining me, Eli, and all the 13 that are already back in. Slowly coming back. We had a nice group, didn't we, form it early on? Gracie, my oldest. Gracie. Hey, Gracie.
Hi.
Gracie Gurley. First, let's tell the folks what they're watching. You, of course, are watching.
You're listening to Talk of Champions, an Ole Miss Spirit podcast with Ben Garrett.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
Now that's better. The first attempt at this, Gracie, you were here to see it. And the other, I think about 5 or 6 of you were here to see it too. The first attempt at this, we were getting reverb. We were getting talked back to in from the camera. Never had that before. As Ole Miss baseball is falling apart in the now bottom of the ninth, down 9-6 to Murray State in the Oxford Regional, the 1-4 seed matchup tonight. And Ole Miss softball is falling apart, facing elimination in Oklahoma City. What are we bummed about the most right now, Gracie, my oldest daughter, who's making her debut on Talk of Champions, powered as always by RiverLand Roofing. She's been watching the softball game with me. Thank you again, all who've already joined. Some comments that are getting in there. Mailman, if they go 2 and out, isn't still a success. No, it isn't a success. If Ole Miss goes 0 for 2 in the Oxford Regional as a host, despite hosting for the first time in 2021, it is definitely not enough. It's not satisfactory, but for this season, it'll have to be enough. Welcome, everybody. This is Talk of Champions. I'm Ben Garrett. After technical difficulties to start, we're settled in. My oldest daughter, Gracie, is joining me to keep me company for nighttime Talk of Champions. We're all hanging out watching this thing together. Ole Miss softball in Oklahoma City lost last night. If you didn't watch that, Texas Tech, Najee Kennedy was unbelievable. The best pitcher in baseball, and she was every bit of that. Aaliyah Benford was great for Ole Miss. Matched her pitch for pitch, but Najee Kennedy was everything. She was billed to be the only pitcher in the country with an ERA under 1. And so she stuffed it for Ole Miss. So now Ole Miss softball is facing elimination in Oklahoma City, as you're probably either sitting in Swayze or watching the Swayze action, as Ole Miss is down 9-6 in the bottom of the ninth to Murray State. The women's softball team in their first trip ever to College World Series is facing elimination now in Oklahoma City. Had tied it, Gracie, my oldest Gracie, still standing here. It was they were down 2-1. They tied it. It was 2-2, and then the following inning, Oregon jumps all over them. So that one's going into the late innings. Of course, Ole Miss baseball is facing it tough right now, 9-6 in the bottom of the ninth, and I'm here to help you in however way I can. Thanks to RiverLand Roofing. RiverLandRoofing.com, 662-644-4297. Man, that's what's so disappointing if Ole Miss does go ahead and lose this to Murray State to start, is because, man, I was in Oxford all day. I actually came back as the regional was about to start because I was going to do a post game. I was going to hang out with y'all. Didn't know Gracie was going to be with me, but I'm glad she is. And so I was in Oxford all day, packed out, man. I mean, postseason had finally returned to Swayze for the first time since 2021. And yet you don't get the glorious return that everybody was setting up for, that was ready for, that Oxford seemed prepared for, was ready to bust at the seams for. Instead, you got a backfired decision by Mike Bianco. The right decision, I think. He went with Riley Maddox instead of going with his ace Hunter Elliott. And the strategy is a tale-old strategy as far as how you line up these regionals. You go with your number 2 guy against the smaller seed, a lesser seed. You go with your number 2 to give you an advantage in case you can go up 2-0 in your regional, which is the best position to be in. Ole Miss decided to go that way, or Mike Bianco did, as I think was the right call. And yet, Riley didn't have a good start. Exactly what Ole Miss didn't need, a bad start from him. He didn't even last. He only lasted 3 innings, 6 hits, 4 runs, all of them earned, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts. That's not it. That's not what Ole Miss is obviously looking for. Big days for Judd Udemark and our guy Judd Udemark and then Campbell Smithwick both hit home runs, hit tanks, and kept Ole Miss in it. Actually, Judd brought him back with a 453-foot tank. You can't say enough about Judd, man. I mean, he's been such an incredible ambassador for Ole Miss and peace to Ole Miss baseball. You're a great friend to us here at Talk of Champions at the Ole Miss Spirit, OleMissSpirit.com, and affiliate of On3. And it was great to see him get that big moment. But the pitching has failed Ole Miss today. I mean, that's the setup was hopeful that Riley, who'd been pitching really well for the last handful of weeks, had been pitching really his best ball of the year over the last couple of weeks. And Ole Miss as a pitching staff had been at its best. The bullpen had been strong. That in a tough draw with Murray State, that you go with Riley Maddox instead of Hunter Elliott, and they are a tough 4 seed. You knew they could score runs. They won the MVC regular season title and also the conference title. This is a team that was hot, that played Ole Miss to extras back in March. You knew this was going to be a challenge, but back in March, it was in the midweek, and you're not throwing Riley Maddox. This is your number 2. And Riley had be, even though with an inflated ERA, you're looking at it, we came into the night 5.26 ERA. Even with an inflated ERA, Riley had been much stronger. He'd pitched really well, especially late. So you had the setup if you could go against the lesser seed, even though I would argue Murray State's better than a lot of the 3 seeds that were lined up in this tournament. It's a different 4 seed than most others are probably facing around the country. But Ole Miss knew this and figured with the way Riley was rolling and having Will McCausland ready, having that full complement of pitchers ready, it was set up pretty nicely for him, and it didn't work. Like I said, you're looking at Riley Maddox only lasting 3 innings. That kills you. Now tomorrow, Hunter Elliott is kind of poetic. He's got a savior season. It's looking more and more like. Now Ole Miss has got 2 on, 2nd and 3rd, 1 out in the bottom of the ninth, trailing 9-6. So the tying run, my guy Judd Udemark is coming up to bat. We're all going to watch this one together. You hate it for Riley Maddox, too, because what a great season he has had. What a great season Hunter Elliott has had. And what I mean by that is not just the obvious, but these guys both had the opportunity to leave and go into the draft and go pro start their professional careers. Now they came back. Ole Miss did a good job retaining them. Oregon's threatening again. 5-2 now in Oklahoma City. Looking like the dream run for Jamie Traxel and company is coming to an end. But what a great run for them, right? This is the first program history appearance in the Women's College World Series. The only unseeded team remaining in the NCAA tournament. Ran into an absolute buzzsaw in Najee Kennedy on Thursday. This one, I don't know, just didn't have it. So it looks like softball. That one, yep. Almost a diving play. I wish I could had the rights, Gracie, where I could show them what I'm watching so it makes sense as we react together. But it's looking like more and more that softball, their season is going to end tonight unless barring something spectacular in the 6th and 7th innings, which could happen because Ole Miss softball has been doing that thing. They've been breaking first and setting new record after new record. Elia Binford, 2-way star for transfer from Baylor, who matched Najee Kennedy pitch for pitch. She couldn't have done anything more. The only run that scored was on an error. Aaliyah has been such an incredible player all year. Najee's been just a little bit better, just as Aaliyah's been a great hitter for Ole Miss. Najee Kennedy also leads Texas Tech in home runs, and she just has been the best pitcher in America. But this one, hey, they're still in it. It's 5-2, but it's getting late. If that ends, the accomplishment was making it, because that's the first that's never happened. And Jamie Traxel deserves all the credit in the world, because people don't forget how bad the situation was that she inherited, because it was the ugliness from the previous administration with Mike Smith, go look it up, acrimonious, like ugly firing, let go process for him. He didn't handle it well. Allegation stuff all came about. Most all of it is nonsense, or was been proven nonsense, right? And yet here she is after all of that, and Keith, who's been crushing it with hires, crushed it with this one. He really survived that whole storm, and Ole Miss softball is doing what everyone thought Mike Smith was leading them to do, but no, actually, it reached a point where now Jamie had to come in here with all these new freshmen, all these new coaches, all these new transfers, feeling a little bit because she's been here a little bit. And she put it together and took them there. That's the second team since 2019, the other being Minnesota, where she came from, where she led that program to their first ever appearance in the College World Series. So really cool. Proud of Ole Miss softball, especially with all they were dealing with at the time. But yeah, it's a different time. Sawyer Wheatley couldn't have gone any worse, talking about the 9-7-6 now final loss for Ole Miss in the Oxford Regional. Host Ole Miss Gracie, my oldest daughter Gracie, she's 13, texting on her phone. And the world has come crashing down for Ole Miss baseball. She's playing a game. She just showed me. Subway Surfers. She's having a better time than all of us. Ole Miss baseball, its final, has lost to Murray State in the opening round of the Oxford Regional. The first regional game in Oxford, Mississippi, hosted at Swayze Field. One of the few places in America that really gives a crap. And it's over. 6-9. 6-9 to Murray State. Murray State battled Ole Miss to extras in March, and now they come out on top. All right, the takeaways start with what we talked about at the beginning of the show. We were having all the technical difficulties. Riley Maddox in the decision to go with him instead of Hunter Elliott, which is a calculated risk. Of course it is. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. Riley Maddox only lasted 3 innings, and he gave up again on 6 hits, 4 runs, all earned, 3 walks, 2 Ks. 2 home runs were 3 extra base hits. Will Furnace got a double. Judd Udemark, and Campbell Smithwick both homered. Judd's had a great year. God, that just blew up in their face. Blew up in their face. Eli McNeese, Ben, why didn't we hug the line? I don't know. Mailman, if they go 2 and out, it isn't a success. Isn't it still a success? It's not. If they go out, well, they make the regional. Here's where it means long term. If they now get bounced from their own regional, which when you lose the 1-4 matchup, you're not sitting in a good spot. If that happens, then the accomplishment was getting back to the NCAA tournament. Hosting a regional was a great accomplishment for this year, considering, or with the backdrop of what just happened the last 2 years, right? Sawyer wants to know, Sawyer Wheatley, we don't try to save Hunter Elliott for Sunday, right? No, you pitch him tomorrow. It's do or die. You have to pitch him tomorrow. And it's the same do or die team in Western Kentucky that was picked by, I don't think it was D1 Baseball or Baseball America, but one of the field projectionists, national projectionists out there were picking all the regionals. No one picked Ole Miss of these 3 analysts, these national analysts. 2 picked Georgia Tech, and the other picked Western Kentucky. No one picked Ole Miss, but they picked Georgia Tech, who whipped Western Kentucky, and the team that Ole Miss faces in an elimination game tomorrow. You don't save him for Sunday. You start him tomorrow in a do-or-die game. Your ace goes, because the worst has happened. The strategy backfired. It blew up in your face. Riley Maddox in starting him instead. But it's the right move. Mike Bianco made the right move. Starting Riley Maddox is what you do. Ole Miss did have a tough draw, one of the toughest draws. It's excuse making, but like all these things are true and objectively true as it blew up in their face. Riley Maddox had a bad start. It's pretty obvious. I mean, they had to battle back, but you knew this Murray State team was going to give you a challenge. They played you to extras in March. So no, you don't save Hunter Elliott for Sunday. You play him, you start him tomorrow. And he's part of this revitalization of a season for Ole Miss baseball. It is an accomplishment, a big accomplishment, to return postseason baseball to Oxford, Mississippi, to host the Oxford Regional. That's true. And think about it this way. Had Mike Bianco been fired this offseason, the exact same season plays out, but it's any coach that you don't have history with. It's just a new guy. You're already saying, thank God we moved on from 5, right? So understanding that this is the guy, this is the date that you came with, the one that brought you, understanding that, yeah, there's going to be some history there. It in of itself is an accomplishment. King on the throne, losing to Murray State is crazy. It isn't crazy. It's bad. It's a nightmare scenario, not just for the Ole Miss fan, for the fan too. Gracie doesn't understand. I mean, not for just the Ole Miss fan. What I mean, not for just the Ole Miss fan, for the team too, the player too. There you go. Gracie, my oldest, is here for those that have just joined us. No, this is the worst outcome. I thought we would be doing a celebratory post game. Gracie Garrett has a question. It's my show. Who cares? We're 50. Gracie wants to know how many innings in a baseball game. 9 unless they go extras because it's tied, and Ole Miss wasn't able to tie it in the bottom of the 9th inning despite getting the tying run to the plate in Judd Udemark, who has had a sensational year. But he's had a sensational year and hit a home run, been so important. But, man, did the pitching let Ole Miss down. That's what happened. Riley Maddox had a bad start. So tomorrow you start Hunter Elliott in a do-or-die game, Western Kentucky, which was picked by one of these national writers to win this regional. And Georgia Tech was probably, in my opinion, I'll just say it, I think Georgia Tech was the biggest regional host snub. Did you see the video? I wish I could show it. I can't because it's owned by ESPN, but you can hear me talk about it as I watch Ole Miss softball get eliminated here in the Women's College World Series, even though they've got a runner on first, down 5-2 in the top of the 6th with 1 out. I'll tell you what. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Ole Miss in the College World Series, they're about to be eliminated here, but Ole Miss baseball losing to Murray State, it's not crazy, King on the throne. What's crazy is that it had gotten to a point where just getting back here to the Oxford Regional was the biggest thing, the most important thing. It's an accomplishment. If any other coach had done it, you would have said a word. CA, I think you should have kept the lineup like it was, but at some point it is on Riley. His body language is terrible when things do not go his way. I don't disagree. The body language is a problem. The Oxford Regional, bringing it back here, is a huge accomplishment. Mike Bianco deserves kudos. And if it was a first-year hire, you would have said, hey, that's a successful season. Mike had left it an absolute disaster, but he recovered. So in the context of this season, it's a great year. In the context of moving on and what it means for the future, of course, it's not enough. It's not sufficient. This now needs to be back to being the norm. Next year, Mike Bianco, if they fall short of the NCAA tournament, he'll be right in the same discussion he is. You're asking essentially, how long, much more longer does Mike have? I think this season was exactly what Ole Miss wanted to see, and they got exactly what they wanted to see. I don't think anything's happening in that regard. I think the most important thing is that Ole Miss had postseason baseball. Unfortunately, now you got to go the hard way to save your own regional. You did get a tough draw, probably the toughest 4 seed in Murray State. Probably, no, without a doubt, the toughest 2 seed, host snub in Georgia Tech. The strategy of starting Riley Maddox is perfectly reasonable. Just blew up in your face. Unfortunately, because I was talking to Mike Clement, Ole Miss baseball hitting coach, earlier this week on Talking Champions, and he said when they have Hunter Elliott on the mound and their full complement of bullpen arms, Mason Morris, Will McLaughlin, then Connor Spencer, they're really tough to beat. Well, you didn't have Hunter. That was the only part of the equation. But Riley Maddox, again, over his last 2 weeks of starts, has been really, really strong. Probably the best he's pitched all year. So, in theory, it was the right move. But this is a team in Murray State that, while a 4 seed, won their conference, both the regular season and the tournament title. First time since 1975 for both of them or something. I mean, this is an historically good team in the context of their year-to-year, Murray State's. So don't dismiss it. But what it means now is it's desperation time. Is that pitching that really showed up in the SEC tournament encouraged you, that depth of pitching? Like Walker Hooks pitched tonight. He gave up a run in 0.1 innings, hit a batter, struck out 1. Now, the decision to go Mason Morris then to Gunnar Dennis was interesting. But anyway, Will McLaughlin took the loss. He gave up 2 runs, 1 earned. He walked 3. He'd had like a 1.37 ERA over his last 13 appearances. Sawyer Wheatley, who did we piss off on the committee? Hey, look, the committee did you a favor in 2022. This year was, no matter what happens in the Oxford Regional, as disappointing it will be if they go 0-2. Yeah, that'll absolutely suck. Billy Landis from RiverLand's calling me. RiverLandRoofing.com, 662-644-4297. Been with him all day. He just got out of the regional. He's probably really, really upset. In 2022, Mike Bianco was gone. You know, they had played really, they weren't making the NCAA tournament. And then John Cohen on the selection committee, that John Cohen from Mississippi State, did him a favor and quite literally called Mike Bianco and said, "Don't F it up." And he didn't. He won a national championship. No one could have ever expected the last two seasons. Sorry, thanks, Cohen. Hey, you won a national championship. That's all that matters. So this season, in the context of if they get bounced tomorrow, it still was a successful season. But all the complaints and all the excuses about Mike stay the same. Now can you repeat it and then get back to Super? They haven't hosted a Super since 2009. And that's not enough. The fact that they lost like they had the last 2 years is what makes it more bizarre. Like, that's what makes the Mike problem so complex. Mike always won. He just didn't win in the postseason. Then he finally won in the postseason. Now he's not winning at all outside of that. This year, it's a return to form. And if any first-year coach had done it, we would all celebrated it, justifiably so. So you celebrate it for Mike Bianco, but it's against the backdrop of, is it still a trending program? If they go 0-2 in their own Oxford Regional, that's just a tough draw. Ole Miss has its flaws in the Riley Maddox decision. Good strategy, blew up. Pat 0311. Bianco needs to build an altar with Elko's mustache to start the rally tomorrow. Now, that's a brilliant idea. I actually talked to Tim Elko this week. He deserves to be back up with the White Sox. Was sent back down. Gracie, my oldest 13-year-old, was sent back down despite hitting like 3 bombs in 2 weeks. Yeah, the average wasn't good, but he's a 3 true outcome hitter. Tim Elko is a great human being, and I'm so thrilled for him. But yes, Tim Elko, the Rebs are still hot. It's just Riley Maddox had a bad start. Unfortunately, you use the full complement of your arms that, as Mike Clements said earlier this week, if they're set up with like Morris, McCausland, Spencer, it's hard to beat them. And Mason Morris, uncharacteristically, 2 earned runs on 4 hits in 3 innings, 4 Ks, didn't walk anybody, but Will McCausland walked 3. Good hitting teams can time up a jet if you give them enough hacks at it, but Murray State's a good team. Now it's about Western Kentucky tomorrow. And fortunately for Ole Miss, they have Hunter Elliott on the mound. Looking more and more as Ole Miss. I'm sorry I'm so distracted because Gracie and I are both watching. Ole Miss softball has the tying run to the plate, down 5-2 in Oklahoma City. And she struck out. Dang. We're getting all nothing but bad news, folks. Ole Miss falls to Murray State 9-6, setting up a do or die go, put up or shut up, win or go home. Pat 0311. He hates that Tim Elko got sent down, but he's still making that MLB salary this year. Dang right. Sorry, Wheatley, if you predict us to win tomorrow, how many innings does Hunter go just to save arms for the weekend? As far as he possibly can. This is the start of Hunter. Like, this is second only to his starts in the College World Series to win a title in 2022 as far as significance. This is why you held him. This is why you held him for the extra day. It wasn't just for, if Riley goes out and stuffs a good lineup, then Hunter Elliott can, win it and get you ahead in the regional to where you just got to win one more to advance out of it. Now he's your stopper. Bad news all around, but at least you have the RiverLand Roofing stress ball to get you through. That's right. Hey, I've had fun. I'm going to be going. This was just impromptu, stupid post game. We're trying out so many different tech things. That's what I was doing in Oxford all day. I'm building out a studio, RiverLand Roofing, and I want you all to join me. We're going to have a launch of it on June 9th. Don't know the time yet, but the guest is going to be really big, and it's going to be a fun thing. So RiverLand Roofing's been so supportive. They have been. Plum Drew, when is Bianco actually going to get a pitching staff together? They'd gotten together late season. They'd played well. True, I understand. I understand you're angry. Bad night for the pitching staff, but they pitched well, and the strategy was sound to start Riley Maddox. But blew up in his face, blew up in Ole Miss's face tomorrow as elimination against Western Kentucky. You get through that. That means Hunter Elliott gave you a really long start. That's what you need. You got to preserve arms now. Mason Morris lost him because you used him for 3. Will McCausland. It's good. It's going to look a lot like the SEC tournament. Cade Townsend might have to come in really early tomorrow. Mason Nichols. I mean, it's win or go home tomorrow. Everybody, all hands on deck that didn't pitch tonight will pitch tomorrow if they have to, because now there is no tomorrow. You got to win. But that's why Hunter Elliott is also starting tomorrow, not just to get ahead of it, but if the worst happens, which it did, Ole Miss loses 9-6. You got your ace on the mound. So we'll see what Ole Miss does. There will be a more coordinated and not tech crazy talk of champions tomorrow. I've had a long day. Fortunately, my daughter hung out with me as I was testing again a live show. And for some reason, a lot of people hung out with me, which is really, really great. Thank you all for talking with me. We talked to it together. I call it CA 78% of the time, Gracie. The regional host wins the first game, wins the regional. That's why you pitch Hunter. More than fair. More than fair. I know there's a handful. There's a handful. Great. Anyway, thank you for watching Talking Champions. That's more than fair. That's going to be the debate from this point forward. That's what people are going to be talking about. Should you just gone with Hunter? But now he has to be your stopper, and you need him to have a long inning. That's what gets Hunter or get a long start, because what he can do is he can get on short starts and have really long pitch counts pretty early. Yep, and looking worse and worse for the Ole Miss women in softball. Oklahoma City 5-2. We're wrapping this up. I was just testing this out anyway. Nice fun post game. Thanks for hanging out. Ole Miss lost game 1. It's a bad loss. Of course it is. But the offense still showed. Hunter Elliott's got to be that dude tomorrow. It sounds so simple, but that's exactly what it is. I mean, they don't have the depth of pitching right now because they used it all in a loss. Thanks to RiverLand Roofing. Thanks to y'all for hanging out with me. Hope for better tomorrow, I guess. Final stats. Let's look here. Who had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Rebels had a hit. 2 had multiple hits. Luke Hill and Will Furness. Ole Miss used 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pitchers, and all of them are the biggest names. It's not a good setup. The only setup it is for Hunter Elliott to go out there and stuff. Thank you for joining Talking Champions. Thanks to Gracie for hanging out with me. Looking like the season's going to be over for Ole Miss softball in Oklahoma City. If so, what an incredible run. But if not, if they rally, of course they did, because it's been a magical season for them. Thank you to all of you for tuning in to an Ole Miss baseball loss of a post-game show. God bless you. You are the true soldiers. We'll see you soon.